What's up? We got The Flash Season 2, Episode 20, Rupture. So this episode starts off with Barry hologramming his way into being The Flash, with him being a hologram version of The Flash, catching criminal. And then Harry's like, yeah, the city's gonna figure out sooner or other that it's not their Scarlet Speedster chasing down bad guys, other than it's just a hologram run by a powerless nerd. He doesn't really say nerd, but it's basically a nerd Barry. And they're like, yeah, but Harry, the last time we activated the particle accelerator explosion, it almost blew a hole in Central City, creating like a bunch of metahumans. You really want to do it again? He's like, I've been reading your Harrison from your Earth's research, and I can discover to contain the explosion of the particle accelerator. So yeah, so Barry decides to drive down to see his dad, Henry, and he's like, hey, when do speedsters need a car? And he's like, yeah, about that. He's kind of not a speedster anymore. And he's like, what? And he's like, wait, how? And he's like, he basically explains he had to save Wally's. Jay had Wally. He's like, Jay? He's like, yeah, guess what? Jay Garrick isn't really the Flash worth too. He's Zoom. And this is just crazy. And oh yeah. So he's like, how are you gonna get your speed back, son? And he's like, yeah. Harry's thinking of recreating the particle accelerator explosion. He's like, wait a minute, the same explosion that's the reason why you were in a coma for 9 months? And the whole reason why you got abs, which you didn't have before? Barry, there's some suspicious about this. And he's like, yeah. So then we see Zoom, and he's basically talks to CCPD, and he's like, hello, CCPD. You better back up. And she's like, don't hurt them. And then Joe sees Caitlin, and he's like, yeah, Zoom brought Caitlin. He's like, why did Zoom bring Caitlin here? And Harry's like, to show power, just like he did on his Earth with the cops. So he's like, we got it. So yeah, so Cisco vibes his brother for some reason. So he decides to, with this, Cisco decides to get in touch with his brother, and his brother basically tells the truth. He's like, Cisco, every time we hang out, we're attacked by some random meta. Unknowns to him, he still thinks that Captain Colden and Heatwave are in Central City. But no, they're on Legends of Tomorrow. Check out the reviews for that if you haven't already. And yeah, so he's like, so then they're attacked by a meta. Basically, Earth 2 Dante's Earth 2 counterpart who wants revenge on Vibe for killing Reverb. And yeah, Cisco that's basically all he wants. He wants revenge on Vibe for killing his brother because Zoom basically told him, Zoom basically told Reverb that Zoom basically told Rupture that he killed his brother, and now Zoom wants Cisco dead, and now Rupture wants Cisco dead. And he's like, what do you know on him? And he's like, he got his powers from the particle accelerator explosion. His power comes from that site he wields, and that he's under Zoom's influence. Because who isn't under Zoom's influence on Earth 2? And yeah, so he's like, yeah. So he must have told Nye because dude wants him dead. So he basically has to, so he's like, he's like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry I couldn't tell his family they had to go to Earth 2. And he's like, why did you go there in the first place? I just saved a friend. Why did they need you? And he's like, to vibe. And he's like, vibe? And he's like, yeah, basically Dante, he has power. He has powers. And he's like, that's the reason why you got me. And I vibed that Earth 2 to give you. And he's like, that's why you got back in touch, because you saw that Earth 2 doppelganger. And he's like, that's why he called you Vibe. Yeah. So Zoom basically, Zoom basically, we see a meeting between Zoom and Rupture Rupture's like, oh, I want to kill Cisco for killing my brother. And he's like, soon, Rupture, soon. Basically, basically, just go to CCG and show them your power. And he's like, you're Zoom, and leave. And she's like, you told me you wouldn't harm them, Jay. And he told me you wouldn't harm them, Jay. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, as you said, he's nothing but a monster. And she's like, Jay, he's like, his name is Zoom. And that was a really cool scene with his eyes turning black when he turns into Zoom. That is a really cool scene. I love it. It's a really cool scene. Yeah, so Zoom basically just shows up and they fire him, but Zoom kills all the cops there. Even kills Rupture, saying, you were even dumber than your brother. Or something like that. He could have just said, oh, he basically could have, this would have been a good zinger. To kill him saying, oh, I lied to you. Your brother, he killed your brother. And killed him like that. That would have been a perfect way. So he dies knowing the truth. But no, they just say that he's not good as his brother wasn't that good. It's just like, or whatever he says. It's not a very good line. So yeah, so Zoom kills all the cops. Kills all the cops there, and he's like, Central City, the Flash speeding around your city, giving you hope. It's just a hologram, because there is no hope. And I do a very good Zoom voice. My Zoom voice is really good. And yeah, so he's like, hey, stop, leave him alone. And he's like, that's not enough, Flash. And he didn't say Flash, but yeah. So he's like, how did they? As I said before, he confronts Caitlin and he's like, how did they know they were gonna show up? And she's like, you said you would spare them, Jay. And he's like, as you said, he's nothing but a monster. His name. And she's like, Jay. And he's like, his name is Zoom. And so, yeah, I guess Caitlin. So Caitlin, I'm guessing, like, breaks out of there. So Barry's, after thinking about it, so Barry's like, fine, guys. Fine. You guys care about me in a bunch of ways, but okay. I'll take the particle accelerator explosion. And they basically inject all the chemicals in Barry that he got before. But instead of Barry just disappear after Cisco fires the wizard wand. I like the joke where he says, and he's like, the wizarding convention, the Harry Potter convention. And he's like, how'd you know there was a Harry Potter convention? Yeah, so he zaps the wand, but instead of becoming struck by lightning, Barry just disappeared. And then Zoom's like, oh, you are trying to give the Flash his power, but instead you killed him. Good work. And there's also a scene where Wally and Jesse are stuck in the time vault together, but they're able to like use an electricity get out. But as the dark matter wave hits both of them, and now they're just unconscious. Okay. So what's gonna happen? Which one of them is gonna get power? Is it gonna be Jesse? Is it gonna be Wally? I guess season 3 we'll have to find out. Is it gonna be Jesse? Is it gonna be Wally? Who knows? Who is going to be a speedster in season 3? Who knows? But anyway, that was still a pretty good episode. I think this is the final appearance of Dante, which he wasn't all that special. For their final appearance, they always don't make a very special impact. Dante finally, does, discover Cisco's meta. But that's kind of all he deserved for the episode. Discovering Cisco is a meh. That's all he chose for the episode. But anyway, that was it for this video. And I'll see you next time for The Flash. For The Flash.